Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Allie, and today I have a Carrie video for you. This year I reread Carrie by Stephen King for its 50th anniversary, which is wild. Carrie turned 50 in April and I wanted to celebrate by rereading it because it is one of my favorite Stephen King books out there, and it held up. I'm still at a 5-star with this. I feel like it doesn't matter how many times I reread this, I'm always going to land at a 5-star with it. If you didn't know, if you've been under a rock, Carrie is about this girl who has a very religious home where her mother is super religious and strict, and to a point of having a prayer closet that she traps Carrie in whenever Carrie does something that she's not supposed to do, like getting her first period and now being a sinner. Carrie actually gets her first period in the girls' locker room while she's showering after PE, and that's kind of where the book starts us off. And poor Carrie, who has no idea what is going on with her body because she has a parent who doesn't inform her on this, thinks that she's dying, and girls throw tampons at her and tell her to plug it up. It's rather heartbreaking, but it is definitely a good for her story, and there is that female rage, which I've been loving this year so much with my reads, and a really good topic on, I feel like, just the whole concept of becoming a woman, the taboo things that people will make jokes about, and I think it was just way before its time, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of conversations here to be had with this story, because it touches on like bullying, and of course it's Stephen King, so it's gonna get weird because she starts to realize that she has these telekinesis ability where she can move things with her mind, and obviously a big horror bang at the end that I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with from the movies, from the memes, from everything in general, where a bucket of pig's blood is dumped on her at prom night, just to make it even more horror. It's such a good book, and also if you buy one of the newer editions, there is a a forward or an afterword or something along those lines where he talks about being a male and writing the story and how he can see where people could be upset with that, a man telling the story, but he does explain or tell us that his wife Tabitha was there for the ride and along with him, and really helped him flesh out the story in places where it needed a woman. And I loved that aspect of it, and it's such a good book. So yeah, a lot has happened since I started this video, and I think I filmed this intro already, and then I think I just lost it and probably deleted it. I don't know. It's been a long time because I read this back in, I started it in April and finished it, I think, in June, if I'm not mistaken. It took me a while because I kind of started it and then I took like a 2-month reading break because of my mental health, and then this was one of the first ones I went back to after that break. During that time, I did enter into my red era with my new hair, and I've kind of stuck with it since. I've absolutely been loving the vibrant red, and my blunt bangs. This was definitely a moment for me. You can tell whenever my mental health starts going downhill, I get the scissors out and I get the dye out, and at this point I do a little hair dye and horror. There was also the total eclipse, which was super cool that we experienced, and I haven't really put it in any videos, so I thought I would with this one. We did some traveling this summer during this time and played some pickleball, and yeah, just little moments here and there that I always planned to put in this video, and now I'm just officially doing it. You might be wondering what comes next, but it's actually a retelling, because I checked out from my library The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson, and this is a modern retelling on Carrie, but with new characters. In this story we follow Maddie, who is kind of going through the same type of bullying and some of the same concepts as Carrie. We have kind of like the same storyline, I believe, going on, but this is going to touch more on to, instead of Maddie getting her period, racism. And I was super excited to dive into this book because I've never read a retelling of Carrie. Since it's one of my favorites from Stephen King, I wanted to see what Tiffany D. Jackson would bring to the table with it, and I had such a fun time reading it that I will take you along with me in just a minute for that. But I also wanted to mention that this was the Q2 pick for In the Void Book Club, which is a really cool book club you should check out on Instagram if you haven't already. There is bookmarks if you join the Patreon for In the Void Book Club, and this was the bookmark for The Weight of Blood, and it is just so freaking cool. It says, make quick work of lighting things on fire with just a thought. She's got the power, telekinesis. And then let it burn the costume he has forced upon you. And it says, inhale life's acid. Super cool. I absolutely love her graphics on her bookmarks that she makes. They are incredible. To bring a little bit more Carrie to this video, I thought it would be a really good time to not only rewatch the 1976, I believe, movie of Carrie, which is a classic. It's so good. I rewatched it, still holds up 5 stars. You can follow me on Letterboxd if you want to know my ratings and reviews on movies. It's always linked below in the description box. But yeah, I absolutely love that movie so much. It's so good. But I thought throughout the summer I would watch the other Carries because there's 2 newer ones, a 2001, I think it's like 2002 or 3, and then there's 2013, I believe, Carrie movies that I've never seen, and there's also a 1999 called The Rage Carrie 2, which is a sequel to the original. I'm watching all of them in this video, but I thought I would mention the first one here because of finishing my reread of Carrie and rewatching a movie, a classic that I love. But since I'm just getting around to filming this intro, I'm gonna take you guys back to when I started The Weight of Blood.
Sorry about that text you got, I didn't ever mean to send it. So you got me in my feelings, also fuck autocorrect. And I've been doing fine except the stabbing pain up in my chest. And I'm stuttering, okay, I'm done. But now you're gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I don't miss seeing or miss you on my phone screen. Now I save the tissues that you bought me from a nosebleed. I don't think about you, but it don't sleep. Gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I don't miss seeing or miss you on my phone screen. Now I save the tissues that you bought me from a nosebleed. I don't think about you, but it don't sleep. Summer days, don't miss your taste. Out in the crawl space, wanna break, still see your face. I just don't wanna be a missing case. Walk in your place, keep up in my pace. Stay awake, stay awake. That's what they all say. I'm shot, really raw. What you wanna scream about? Iced out, metaphor, cause you wanna bite that. Know you got it in me, but my comments on the side gun.
What you wanna talk about?
What you tryna get at? Lyrical on the boat, man, it's my art too. Hit 'em all like a joke, man, it's all I fear. Catch 'em all, fuck 'em all, it's a bright idea. Never heard a ringtone, but now you're
Hello, you guys. It has been quite some time since I have last checked in with you in this video. I read Carrie over kind of during a bad mental state for me, and just went into a reading rut for the past couple of months. So now I'm back at it. I am still in my red era, and so I needed to touch up my roots and get that vibrancy back. So I thought I would sit down and check in with you guys and let you guys know that I have started The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. So we're going to talk about this in a minute. I am starting this new little series over my Instagram called Hair Dye and Horror, I think. And I don't know, maybe one day it'll go somewhere, but for now I think it's just going to be an Instagram stories thing, because I'm about to post in my stories because we are finally going to be watching The Strangers Chapter 1 or whatever, the new Strangers movie. I'm really excited. We're watching it tonight. So yeah, I'm going to be posting about that and like setting with my hair dye or whatever, and then hopefully the next couple of days I will make a post like with my new hair, you know? Anyways, yeah, it has been quite the time reading Carrie and watching the movies. I have now officially watched the second. I just finished it today, so it's The Rage Carrie 2. It came out in 1999, and I absolutely loved it. I did not know what to expect going into a sequel, but I think I can see where others would rate it lower because of some of the elements of this movie. But for me, the nostalgia, I love 90s movies so much. They're just so iconic, and just the aesthetics, the vibes are all there for it. And this one did not disappoint. It has the beautiful, what is it, Emily Burgel? Is that how you say her name? I know her from Desperate Housewives, but she was absolutely phenomenal in this, and why was she not in more 90s movies? She could have easily been one of the girls in The Craft. She was just phenomenal in this movie. It was so good, and I kept thinking, I think because of the vibes in the 90s and all of this, I was going to land at like a 4, but the ending was so solid that I think I'm landing at a 5. I think I love it just almost as much as the original Carrie, and I like that it's a story in itself, like a new one, and just the connections and ties with Carrie being there, but also kind of being its own standalone was just amazing. It was so good. I am really excited for the next two. There's a couple more remakes, although I believe they are actual just full-on Carrie remakes. It's kind of weird because one of them is 2002 and the other one is 2013, and I feel like that's not really like a big enough gap between those two for a complete remake. I'm kind of nervous to see how they go, but I feel like those are two really good timelines for movies. I'm thinking about movies that came out around 2002 and movies that came out around 2013, and I'm like, this could be really good. And those different vibes and aesthetics with both of those, like the Y2K, and then like, I feel like 2013, 2014 had like its own vibe and aesthetic. So yeah, I'm excited to watch them, and I will be getting to them as well as The Strangers tonight. But I did want to check in because I'm loving this book. I did find out or realize that I have read from Tiffany D. Jackson before. I read one of her short stories. It was in the Book of Witches. I don't remember it. I don't remember too many of those. That book kind of fell flat for me, and I just really wanted it to be more witchy than what it was. But now I know that I have read from Tiffany D. Jackson before, but it was just a short story. I'm enjoying this though. Every review I've seen on Tiffany D. Jackson says that although like it's YA, it's written very well in a way that won't bother you if you typically don't like YA, and I stand behind that. This has been really nice to read. It doesn't really feel like a YA book, although like Carrie, it is a high school setting with teenagers and stuff, so you are definitely going to get that young adult feeling there. But writing style isn't like cheesy or, I don't know, just like that weird, awkward in between, like when an older generation is writing a younger generation. Like there's none of that weirdness. It's just written very well. Like Carrie, this starts out with a girl at school, and instead of getting her period in the shower and everybody laughing at her, this character, Maddie, is at school and it's for PE class, and she is told that they're going to be running laps outside. And she starts to have a little bit of anxiety about this because she did not pay attention to the weather and it is supposed to rain. Her backstory is just like Carrie. She has one parent. She has a single dad who is raising her. Her mother is not alive, and her father is a white man who had Maddie with a black woman and is pretty much trying to hide her race and her identity. And because of that, and because of her fair complexion from him, he has her wear her hair in a way that she can pull off being white. And when it rains and it dries, it's going to curl up and be her natural hair that she should be proud and love, but she has been raised in a way to not love and hate it and ultimately feel insecure because of her authentic self. So just like Carrie, it's really sad, but I feel like instead of diving too far into the religion aspects and purity aspects of Carrie, this one is diving into racism, and I feel like she's doing it in such a way that it's still gut-wrenching and it's hard, but it's meaningful and it's so beautifully done, without the slurs and the uncomfortableness that comes with that I feel like could trigger, I guess, more heavily. She just does it in a way that makes the reading experience still meaningful, but not like just, ugh, I don't want to read this because it has a bunch of slurs and it's just super degrading and whatever. I'm enjoying it so far. It has a lot of the same timeline and aspects of Carrie, of these girls making fun of her because they didn't know she was black, and it's a lot more of a modern take, but still done in a really good way. We have Wendy, who is like Sue and Carrie, who is dating the popular boy, Kenny, who is like the football player. He is the athletic star, and he's also black. But because they knew he was black, and also because he is their star athlete, he is looked at a lot differently than Maddie is. I almost said Carrie. Than Maddie is. So it kind of touches a little bit on that racism too, on using people as leverage and not like insulting them as much as other people of that color, just because, again, that like leverage with sports and like whatever. Maybe even because he's a man and she's a woman, that type of ordeal too. It touches on a lot of those different things, but we still have the same aspects from Carrie, with Wendy telling Kenny that she feels bad and she thinks he should ask Maddie to prom. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I will check in soon to let you guys know what I think about this one, and hopefully I will have time to fit in those next 2 movie watches as well before I check in with you guys again, but we will see.
Look at me. something that is never on my mind.
Back at it, and will I finally finish this video? Honestly, it's been finished. I do need to talk to you guys about The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson, give you guys my review on it, and wrap up this video. Ultimately, what this video comes down to is my Carrie look. I've been putting it off for months because the thought of dumping red dye corn syrup all over me, yeah, I haven't really wanted to do that. And then on top of that, if you've catched the other vlogs, we just moved. So it's just the timing has been really off, and honestly just everything in my life right now is completely off from what I was expecting closer to spooky season. You know, back when I was planning all the things I was gonna do, and now I'm like, what can I do? I'm feeling a little stressed. That is okay. We're gonna pull through, we're gonna make it happen. I am gonna do my Carrie look. So right now I am getting ready for prom. I'm kind of hoping to get 2 looks done tonight. I don't know if you guys have seen Strange Darling yet. I personally have not, unfortunately. It was not in any theaters near me. Otherwise, I would have. I wanted to go and support the hell out of that movie, and unfortunately was not able to because there was literally no theater showing it anywhere close to me. But this is one of the movie posters for it, and I just thought it was stunning, and I think it would be beautiful on my feed if I could try to recreate it. And I have a wig. It's not the same shade as the wig in this photo, so I'm gonna have to play with lighting a little bit and also try to do the drips and everything that this look has going on, but it's almost giving like a Carrie vibe with the drips. Although I do think I'm going to edit these drips in. Where my Carrie look is, I mean, I'm going there for Carrie. I am gonna do the full blood. I have my tiara that I bought like months ago. I just spent the last 2 hours making a prom dress because I also had a dress in mind for this look. It was like a really old dress that I think was originally a swimsuit cover-up that was my sister's, and then my sister gave it to me literally when we were teenagers. And I had it in mind for this look because I was like, I don't use it anymore. This is a way for me to utilize what I already have, not buy things. And so could have definitely went thrifting and found a prom dress that would have worked. But alas, I was like, I'm just gonna use this swimsuit cover up and it's gonna be fine. And the time has come. We have moved since. I have no idea where this cover-up dress is even at anymore. I've looked high and low for this stupid thing. I thought I had already like unpacked my entire closet. Then I remembered I bagged up a bunch of clothes like a couple months ago to go and donate to a thrift store and never did. They were in the back of my car, and so I went through all of those just a minute ago that were stored with the move in our garage, and I'm losing my mind trying to find this. So I was like, whatever. Got out the old dusty sewing machine that I have literally not even worked with because I haven't sewed in years. I was like trying to pull up YouTube videos on this exact make and model, couldn't find anything. Had to really wing it, and I don't even have thread. I literally just have a bunch of bobbins. So I had to make do with what I had and create this prom dress. Thankfully, I have a bunch of like fabric that I used to use for like backdrops and stuff, because that's what's going on here. I honestly have no idea how much I'm even going to be able to get to this season, spooky season, with looks and everything. I'm gonna try my best to make it still a full-on spooky season moment on my pages. But if you're interested, I have been back to posting on Instagram, and TikTok. So go check them out for spooky season at least. See what I've been up to. I'm going to be posting different looks. My Allie Brienne Reads Instagram is kind of just like all horror. So it's horror books, horror movies, recreation looks, cosplays, that type of ordeal, just spooky things in general. And then I still have my Allie Brienne _ MUA page where I'm posting mainly the makeup tutorials, sometimes just the looks as photos. Kind of the same ordeal on TikTok with the Allie Brienne _ MUA, but I do have a TikTok that I have officially named Allie Brienne Horror, and I have been posting like kind of like the behind the scenes stuff over there. So like how I created certain looks down to like the setups, any backdrop that I'm using, all the little props and stuff that I usually make by hand, or if I order it, you know, I'll say that. But yeah, all the props and outfits at this point that I'm doing, I'm going to be showing all the behind the scene things. I'm thriving right now, although I kind of feel like I'm dying at the same time with not being able to have like a whole lot of time, and the fact that like I'm having to cram so much all at once now is a little much. But besides that, I'm having a blast. Just hoping I can keep the momentum up for the rest of this month. But I'm gonna finish getting ready for my prom, and I'm going to talk to you guys about The Weight of Blood. I feel like I mentioned a lot about it in my last clips. I wanna say I did. I think I touched on the majority of it, but I feel like I will give so much away if I go into too many more details because, like I've mentioned, it is a take on Carrie. So you know the basic Carrie story now. I feel like I've talked about it a lot. You've probably read it, or you've probably watched one of the movies to kind of know what it's about. So go into The Weight of Blood knowing that it is a Carrie retelling. It is around pretty much the same story, but Tiffany D. Jackson goes on racism and how that can affect a young girl with bullying and the rage and anger that boils over with that, and how it escalates, just like in Carrie's story where people are pretty much making fun of her for being a woman. And as you guys seen in the last clips, I really enjoyed my time reading it. I liked the writing style and just the overall take on it. I feel like if you're gonna do a Stephen King, you gotta do good, or I'm gonna be very nitpicky about it, but I feel like she did incredible. I felt like it was a good spin on Carrie while also feeling like its own piece, and that's what I loved. And the writing style continued to be amazing. I liked where it went. I obviously am always going to have a big thing for the original Carrie, but I loved what Tiffany did with the story, and even the little changes she did make to it, I felt like was just kind of a little surprise for the people who have read Carrie and was kind of already expecting the later. But I feel like she did it in a way that is probably more enjoyable for today's generation, younger generations as well. So I liked those aspects of it. I will also say though, horror fans I feel like are still going to love this book because she doesn't hold back with the gore, and the audiobook towards the end was really nice too. The production of it was really well done. I enjoyed it, and honestly was not expecting the book to escalate the way that it did. I feel like with Stephen King, you're like, yeah, you're expecting it. But with her writing throughout, the big bang, the ending, the finale was just incredible. I feel like as a horror lover and person who reads so much horror, I had such a good time with it, and I loved where she went with it. So I'm sure at this point you're not surprised that I landed at a 5-star with it. And while I finished the last bits of my makeup because I'm going very, very minimal, I just have to say, I watched the last 2 Carrie movies and they were something. If anything, entertaining, but that's about all I can say. You can definitely check out my letterboxed reviews on them, but the 2000, okay, what I will say, because I'm gonna say something nice about them, is that I love how on point they were for their time. Like watching, I think it was 2002 and 2013. Watching each of them, watching the 2002, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. This movie came out in 2002, all right. It's very on trend and on brand with other movies from Y2K and very dramatic for a horror. And I feel like that was very like on trend at that time as well. And then you go to the 2001 and it's a little bit more cheesy, a lot more on brand for what horror movies, almost like the teenage horror movies, like When a Stranger Calls and stuff like that. It's kind of like the same type of vibes I was getting with this one when it came to the acting, the storyline, and all of that and how they went about it. With that being said, I did not care for either one of them. I thought that they were both pretty rough. The 2002 Carrie was just, I honestly feel like their whole entire budget was just spent on adding as much cheesy graphics and special effects as they possibly could. I will say I did appreciate how close I felt like that one kind of stayed to Carrie the book story versus even the original Carrie movie. I also didn't mind the actress who played Carrie. I think she did a little over the top, like Kristen Stewart Bella at some scenes, but at the same time, Carrie is supposed to be very awkward, not the show-stopping bombshell that I even feel like the original Carrie actress was. Like, I felt like she was really good for the Carrie part, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I feel like Carrie is supposed to be a little bit more on the average side when it comes to her appearance. And I felt like this actress, although she was absolutely beautiful as well, I felt like they did her hair, makeup, and wardrobe more average to really fit the Carrie character, and I did appreciate that. But overall, the movie was still just not for me. 2012, 2013, somewhere in there, that Carrie, the acting was just so horrible in that movie that it just really took me out. And by then I was like, I've seen so many Carrie movies back to back to back. I was kind of checking out a little bit just because I wasn't enjoying myself anymore, like I did with the original and then the sequel. It took me out a little bit, but the acting was just not great. I felt like Carrie was played by like a bombshell girl that could literally be one of the friends in Pretty Little Liars, and it just felt really off. It didn't feel like Carrie White. It did not feel like a Carrie story. And now I can get ready to be off to my prom, my bloody prom. Fun fact about me, I know nobody asked, but I was homeschooled most of my school days. For high school and stuff, I didn't get to go to prom, but my now husband was my boyfriend at the time, and he was in school, and he asked me to his prom. But thankfully, I of course said yes, but thankfully, he knows me so well and even knew me so well back then to know that I did not want to go. I was going for his sake, and I was literally having anxiety and panic attacks about it, that he was like, I asked you to be nice, but like, I don't want to go either. So do you just want to chill at home and eat snacks and watch Friends together? And I was like, hell yeah. It's just not a part of my life that I feel like I ever like really truly missed out on. And I guess I'm going to wrap up this video here in my creepy ass basement storage room where I did my Carrie look. It is all behind me in a heap of blood and dress and flowers and crown and a lot going on that I now have to clean up. And that was quite the time even getting myself cleaned up. Thankfully, I don't look super stained or anything. But I also wanted to mention before I close this video out that I showed you guys this copy of Carrie earlier in the video. I have since went to Target and got the new edition. It's just so beautiful. How could I not? And you guys know, I think I mentioned it earlier in this video that I was trying to thrift a better edition of Carrie just because, I don't know, this cover's just not it for me, especially like for Carrie. I mean, it's Carrie. I need like red and blood. I delivered with this. And while I was there, I also picked up The Shining because I actually don't have a copy of The Shining at all. It's like my favorite Stephen King book ever, so like why not? But yeah, I love these new editions. They also had Cujo, but I feel like it was too similar to like the copy of Cujo I already have because my thrifted copy is a newer one. And then I think the Salem's Lot one, which was cool, but I like my Salem's Lot copy better, so I just ended up just getting those two. Anyways, that's my Carrie video. I hope you enjoyed seeing me get red dye and corn syrup dumped on me. And here are the photos. I hope they turned out really good. I can't wait to sit down and edit them and figure out which ones I'm gonna post and all of that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for another video, a long overdue video that needed to be posted a while ago. But I appreciate you nevertheless, and I will see you in my next one.